Hello, everyone. Happy Martin Luther King Day, a very important holiday for Americans. And I'm so sorry for this video being late. I originally intended for this to go up Friday night or Saturday morning, but life got in the way. It was one of those things where like everything just went wrong, and it was all like important adulting stuff. Like my car payment didn't go through, so I had to get that taken care of. There was some issue with my homeowner's insurance that I had to straighten out. There was we got hit with a snowstorm. Well, not a snowstorm, more like a batch of sleet on Saturday, which kind of screwed up. I still had to go run errands, basically, but because the weather was so bad, it took longer than I anticipated because traffic was crazy and everything. It was just a mess. Like, this entire weekend was a mess. And then, of course, Sunday was Championship Sunday, so I wanted to watch the games, and everything just kind of fell to the wayside. So the video's here now. And again, I apologize for the delay, and maybe I'm a little late with some of the things I'm going to be talking about, but I think it's worth bringing up and worth talking about anyway for those of you that actually want to listen to my opinions. So let's get started. Well, first of all, Super Bowl's in less than 2 weeks. We had Championship Sunday, and we're going to get a Chiefs and 49ers Super Bowl, which is a really interesting one. Especially since, like, man, this would have been a cool Super Bowl to have back in the 90s when Montana was playing for the Chiefs and Steve Young was playing for the 49ers. That would have been a great one to have, but as is, I really like the Chiefs. Part of me really wants Andy Reid to win a Super Bowl because when he was coaching for Philly, I had to hate him on principle because he coached for Philly, but at the same time, I quietly respected him too as a coach. I thought he was a legitimately great coach that should have won at least one Super Bowl by now. And it was just bad luck that prevented that from happening. So part of me wants him to finally get a ring. And then on the other side, you have the 49ers. I like Garoppolo as a quarterback. I felt like New England made a mistake letting him go. I think he could have been the future once they moved on from Brady. And to see him do well, I kind of feel like, yeah, it's worked out pretty much how I thought it would. And at this point, it's like, dude, their running game, because the Packers looked completely overwhelmed in the NFC Championship game. The score was 37-20, I think. And I don't think it properly reflects just how dominant the 49ers were. Like, the entire second half, it's like they could have just run the entire time and it wouldn't have mattered. I think they did. I think Garoppolo only threw one pass in the entire second half. It's like, why bother? But so I'm happy for both teams. Congratulations to both of them. And I'm thinking about doing a Super Bowl related video, like a favorite Super Bowl memory video or something like that. For those of you interested in football, you might find that interesting. As far as non-wrestling videos go, I think I mentioned this on Twitter. No guarantee on when the videos will come out or be completed, but preliminary work has begun on a top 20 favorite episodes of Thundercats, the original Thundercats, the original show, and a top 20 favorite episodes video for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original show that I grew up with when I was a kid. Those of you that saw my top 20 episodes of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, the video would be somewhat similar. And when I say I've done preliminary work, basically what I've done is I've made a list of episodes from both shows that I would consider putting in a top 20 video, and now it's just a matter of whittling that list down to 20, and then then we do the whole production part of it, which that's going to take the longest. I think the He-Man video took me about a year to do. It took a really long time. I hope that these two won't take that long, but we'll see how it goes. But so you've got those in the pipeline, so be on the lookout for those. But now I think it's time to jump into the wrestling side of things, because there's a lot of interesting news tidbits that have come up in the last week or so that are very interesting. And let's start off with the controversial one, the really bad one. So Tessa Blanchard wins the Impact World Heavyweight Championship. She won it at the main event of Hard to Kill. I'm not going to do a full review of the show because it's a week late, and it's like, what's no reason to go through the entire show point by point. For a full review. What I will say is an overall assessment. I'm not going to say that it was a one-match show, but it was the main event was literally the only thing I cared about, so I was just kind of biding my time to get to that. Not that the matches leading up to it were bad, it was just kind of not spectacular, except for the main event. That was kind of the show. It was just, the entire thing, I was just waiting for the main event, basically. And, nothing I hated, but nothing that caught my attention, except for that one spot where Willie Mack was in a 2-on-1 handicap match for the tag team titles. and they did like this doomsday, this weird like, I think they were gonna do like a super stacked superplex to Willie Mack, the North, who the tag team he was facing, and Willie Mack fought it off and then jumped off the top rope and hit like a Doomsday Device flip pile driver on one of them. It's like, that is one of the craziest spots I've seen in a long time. That was insane. And that was, because I thought Rick Steiner hitting a power slam out of a Doomsday Device situation was like one of the craziest spots I'd ever seen. And that happened way back in 93. And I'm like, this one tops that. That was just nuts. Like, logistically, I don't even know how that was possible. So you had highlights throughout the show, but overall, I thought it was kind of like, it was a meandering show up until the main event, which was great. I thought Tessa and Sammy tore the house down. I think they have a very natural chemistry. Maybe it got a little finisher festy at the end, but overall, I thought the match was exciting and very well done. And I thought both talents did a great job, and Tessa won, which, if the controversy hadn't come out, I think most people would have been happy with it, would have been like, oh, good. And, Impact actually created something good and exciting and fresh and pushed a talent that got over and legitimately the best thing in the company. But the day before, I think it was the day before, stuff started to come out about Tessa Blanchard that was like, uh-oh. And I wasn't going to comment on it right away because everything was just kind of, I don't like to get caught up in like the outrage culture of online bullshit because to me it's just, just to use an example, I remember when Gamergate was flaring up and I had absolutely no idea what the fuck Gamergate was or what the hell was going on. To me it was just a bunch of people screeching at each other and none of them on both sides, nobody could explain to me and answer my goddamn question, what the fuck was Gamergate? And all I would get, if I asked somebody that was pro Gamergate, they would say, we got to do it for the good of blah, 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 and your journalism and all this other stuff. I'm like, okay, but what do you, what's going on exactly? How did this start? Nobody could give me an answer. And I would ask people that were anti-Gamergate, and they were like, what, you're not sexist, are you? And I'm like, no, I just want to know what's going on. I don't know, how are they sexist? Explain it to me. And I didn't get the full story on Gamergate until 2 or 3 years after it had ended, basically. And basically it was just an online shit show that snowballed into something bigger than it had any right to be. But it, I didn't want to get caught up in that with Tessa because there was a lot of brouhaha going on online. And I didn't want to jump into it without knowing as much as I possibly could. So I made sure I had as much information as possible before I commented on it. And basically the story goes, Tessa posted something on Twitter saying women should support each other and awesome things happen when you do, which then prompted some of her former colleagues to come out and say, you're a bully and a bitch and a racist, because you called this one, what was her name, Black Rose, you called her an N-word, or something like that, and various talents like Allison Kay and Chelsea Green came out and said that she's a bully and mean and nasty and everything else. And Tessa has come out and said that the story where she called Black Rose an N-word is not true. She's denied it, and she even responded to Chelsea Green, I think, and asked her, was like, you and I were always cool with each other, I don't know what the problem is, and blah, blah, blah. So it's just, again, it's just a bunch of people yelling, it's like, yes, you did, no, you didn't, that type of stuff. So no definitive proof that I've seen, no definitive proof confirming or denying the allegations. It's just right now, and I was going to give it a few days before I said anything to make sure that we had all the facts. Nothing's been confirmed either way, and there's no evidence presented by either side. So, I mean, for me, I don't really know what to comment on, but it unfortunately started a controversy that I'm sure Impact Wrestling didn't want to deal with right before they were about to put their main title on her, the day before. It was like, oh my God. And then we get hit with this, and now Tessa can't even be on the media tour for the pay-per-view and she's going to win the fucking belt, which I guess I'm glad they didn't change the finish because, she was still the best option, I guess, but I don't know. This is going to severely, undercut whatever plans they had for a title reign, because I can't imagine, unless they kind of weather the storm and just kind of hope that it blows over and people kind of forget about it, but it's, again, I'm not going to say that it didn't happen, because I don't know, I wasn't there, and I haven't seen definitive proof either way, and I've got nothing against Allison Kay or Chelsea Green. I actually like Chelsea Green. If you asked me to pick a talent, like which one I preferred, I would say Tessa. Like, I think Tessa's more talented than both of them, but that's not necessarily like doesn't make her a better person. That's that aspect of it. Because I don't want to get into this because I've seen both sides where some people are saying it's like, oh, those girls are just jealous and they're trying to ruin her moment and they're not as talented as her and the timing is way too convenient of this and it's just they're just trying to piss on her parade because they're jealous or blah 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 whatever. And then I've seen the other side where it's where was I going with this? The other side of it is where always believe the allegations, which I've never subscribed to that. Never instantly believe everything because, you could wind up being wrong if you don't have enough evidence. And immediately taking Chelsea Green and Allison Kay's side. I've seen a lot of that as well. So to me, there's way too many unknowns. And for right now, there's no smoking gun. There's no Hulk Hogan audio clip. that embarrassing thing. But I can't help but think it's man, social media and Twitter continues to be the worst thing that ever happened. And I don't know, if Tessa doesn't post that tweet, does any of this even come out? I don't know. Did Chelsea Green and Allison Kay say, you know what, we're going to ruin this bitch's, we're going to end this bitch's whole career, basically, and just decided to start a shitstorm on Twitter? I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. Again, I'm not going to condemn somebody for something that I don't have evidence of happening. Because right now it's just two people. It's people saying she did it and then her denying it and no definitive proof either way. So, again, and I don't want to accuse anybody of being a liar either. That's the other thing. Because I start taking sides, then it's all right, then I'm instantly saying that these people are a liar. And I have nothing, like I said, I have nothing against... I've never met any of them, obviously. Allison Kay, Chelsea Green, Tessa Blanchard. Never met any of them. Been a fan of, I've been a fan of Chelsea's work at several points. Allison Kay I've never been that high on, but, and obviously I've been a big fan of Tessa's work. I actually, my end of the year awards for 2019, I gave her Female Performer of the Year, because I thought she legitimately, she was the female performer that entertained me the most in 2019, and I put her over Becky Lynch. I put her over Shayna Baszler. I put her over Ronda Rousey, who was the big star heading into WrestleMania. So there were some options. It's not like there were no other options. And it was just, personally, Tessa entertained me the most. And I wanted to give her the nod. So I hope I hope it's not true. And if it is true, I hope it's just one of those situations where tempers were flaring and stupid things were said because... Granted, I've been royally pissed at people in the past, and never pissed enough to drop the N-bomb against somebody that pissed me off. And there have been some people that have really gotten under my skin and pissed me off, and I never quite went that road with it. So I don't know. Again, there's too many unknowns for me to really definitively say one way or the other. I could see Tessa, because I'd heard in the past that. Not that she's a racist, but I'd heard in the past that Tessa kind of rubbed people the wrong way, which makes you wonder, is that why she's an Impact? Because I got to think, because I said from the moment AEW started up, I'm like, dude, they've got to give Tessa Blanchard a call. She would be the crown jewel of the women's division. If you look at the women's division right now in AEW, everybody says it's the weakest part of the show. And they're right. And not that they don't have talented girls, it's just there's no cohesion or direction, and I think someone like a Tessa Blanchard would be a huge attraction for them, but it makes you wonder why they haven't gotten her. I don't know. More on AEW in a little bit and them picking up people or not picking up people, but it's it does make you wonder. But then again, they brought her in for All In, and I didn't hear anything negative regarding her experiences there, so who knows? I don't know. This may be one of those cases where it's man, I miss the days when I didn't know anything about what went on backstage or any of the personal bullshit. Cornette was kind of talking about it. It's back in my day, if somebody pissed you off, you just punch him in the face. But then Cornette is the guy that gets pissed off at everybody and gets fired. So who the hell knows? But it's a very tough situation all around. But again, I don't want to agree with or condemn anybody that's involved in it until we have some kind of evidence either way. And you could say on the anti-Tessa side, it's more than one person comes out and says it. It's makes me kind of lean towards that maybe it really did happen. But again, I don't want to, I don't want to, agree with or side with or condemn anybody yet. It's just, to me, it's just a really unfortunate situation and kind of put a damper on what should have been a big moment for Impact Wrestling. So they're the ones that I feel sorry for them because they worked so hard to create this really special moment, and the rug kind of got pulled out from under them because either through Tessa's own doing or through other people's own doing that have a beef with her for whatever reason. So but yeah, the moral of the story is Twitter's bad. Stay off of Twitter. By the way, click on the link in the description. You get to follow me on Twitter. So my rambling insanity. But I don't say anything. I say stupid things on Twitter, but I don't think I say stupid things that could get me in trouble. At least, of course, I'm also not famous enough to get in trouble. I think I almost feel like I can say whatever the hell I want. Nobody would care. But it's to me it's just a really tough, unfortunate situation, and the real victims in the whole thing are everybody in Impact Wrestling that worked so hard to create like a special moment. And once again, the bad luck charm for Impact Wrestling just rears its ugly head, and what should have been a special moment kind of got tarnished. It's like, oh man, that's a shame. But so either because they bet on the wrong horse or because some people were looking to kill the horse, like whichever way you want to look at it. So, but yeah, that's really all my thoughts in the situation. It's just there's no definitive proof either way, so I don't want to jump onto one side or the other. But it is to me it was just a really unfortunate situation that everything worked out the way it did. But speaking of Impact Wrestling, another thing that happened to them this week is that they got banned from Twitch because of a segment with Rob Van Dam where he's making out with naked ladies with whipped cream on their tits, and it's like that's something they probably should have thought over. I mean, I don't know how important Twitch is to them now, given that they're on Access TV, which is better than the Pursuit channel. Access TV isn't great, but it's still better than the Pursuit channel, so maybe Twitch isn't that important to them anymore, so maybe they didn't care, I don't know, but you would think that they would be a little bit smarter about that. But I will say I do kind of like Rob's new gimmick, where he's like this asshole that's like, it's like, yeah, all the wrestlers today stole my moves and blah, 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 and I'm the king and all this other shit, and then he makes out with this like buxom half-naked lady like all hours of the day that's like half his age, and it's like, oh my god, this is so like this is so ridiculous. It's such an Attitude Era gimmick, but in like a good way. It kind of reminds me of like how the Attitude Era and like the Monday Night Wars period in ECW, they had definite like trashy trash moments, but some of those trashy trash moments were legitimately funny and legitimately fun, and this is in that camp. When I think of like the fun trashy Attitude Era moments, I think of things like God, what was a good one? I kind of like stupid. I kind of liked Mark Henry making out with the transsexual. It's like, that's why they call me Sammy, baby. It's like, I thought that was funny. It's trashy as hell, but I liked it. I distinctly remember laughing at it when I was a kid. But then you have segments like Mae Young giving birth to a hand. I'm like, okay, that's stupid. And right now, like the Lana, Rusev, Lashley stuff is like, okay, this is dumb trash and like not even like fun dumb trash. But Rob Van Dam, like being a ladies' man at near 50 years old, with making out with women half his age and acting like Charlie Sheen, I'm like, okay, this is kind of funny. And it's funny. Somebody was telling me that Val Venus is like this huge advocate for legalization of weed, which is no surprise because he's a libertarian. But he's like this huge advocate for it. And it made me joke. It's like, all right, when did Val Venus and Rob Van Dam switch gimmicks? Because now Rob's the porn star, and Val is the one that's like, weed is cool, man. But it's just one of those funny things. But yeah, Impact should have been a little bit smarter about that segment, but the segment itself I thought was kind of funny. So it's, if you're on like on a platform that allows that type of stuff, go for it. But they should have known better than to air that on Twitch, I think, or at least heavily censor it to where they wouldn't get in trouble. I don't know. Now, the version of the segment I saw, they blurred out Katie Forbes' tits, so I don't know if like that's how it aired on Twitch or if it was completely uncensored on Twitch. I have no idea, but I don't know. I'm the type of guy that's like, people get offended. Who cares? Just let chaos reign. I don't care. Like, I don't fucking care. But anyway, so that was that. So that's enough Impact Wrestling news. Is there anything else we're talking about? Well, I'm an idiot, because I thought for sure that Marty Scurll was going to go to AEW, and it seemed like even when they revealed that the Dark Order has the Exalted One that's running the show, it's like, okay, so that's Marty Scurll, right? It has to be Marty. Apparently not, because Marty Scurll has re-signed with Ring of Honor, and they've given him the keys to the castle, where not only is he getting what is being described as WWE main roster money, which I don't know where the hell they got that much. I know Sinclair owns them, but I've watched their shows. It's like, it doesn't look like Sinclair puts a lot of money into those shows. Also, you know, I've seen their attendance figures lately, so it's like, what revenue are they generating at this point? So in addition to a huge payday, they're also making him the head booker, which might be an improvement. I don't know. Maybe they figured like Marty Scurll, because ever since they lost the Bucks and Cody, they've just been, well, more since WrestleMania weekend, because they were still able to have the show at MSG, which is the biggest show in company history, and then they just fell like a fucking lead balloon or whatever. Fuck it. And it's just been a downhill slope ever since for them. And maybe they figured it was like, dude, we literally cannot lose Marty. We are fucked if we lose Marty. And making him head booker, I mean, I don't know what kind of creative chops he has, but it's like, it's got to be better than what they've been doing. But I don't know. Like, Ring of Honor is kind of like, it went from being a solid number two, like the number two company in the country, to being like fourth or fifth. Like, I would put MLW over them at this point. It's like, dude, they're like, I mean, I watch MLW every week. I haven't watched Ring of Honor in like 6 months. I mean, it's pretty bad. So, you know, we'll see. I'm a little disappointed that Marty's not going somewhere else. If not AEW or NXT, then like, I would have been fine with him in NWA just to spice them up a bit. But they may do like cross-promotional stuff with NWA and ROH, which might benefit both of them. Who knows? But yeah, so I thought that was really interesting, because I thought Marty for sure was going to AEW to be with his buddies, but that didn't happen. So it makes you wonder where the Dark Order storyline is going to go. I've heard rumblings that, they're going to try and get Matt Hardy to do that, which I would kind of be okay with that, to get Broken Matt Hardy in AEW, where, because part of what killed Broken Matt Hardy in the WWE is that, once again, the WWE has full creative control, and Vince has final say on everything, so you can't just let him, and it is that weird balance that you need to have. It needs to be a combination of creative, or, you know, somebody like a Vince McMahon giving the stamp of approval, but with enough creativity. The wrestlers need to have input into their stuff, and far too often you can tell it's just scripted word for word, and they're just reciting scripted dialogue. And I don't think the Broken gimmick was ever going to be allowed to fully flourish in WWE for that very reason, is that Matt wasn't going to have full control over it like he did in Impact, where they pretty much just let him do whatever he wanted. But then I think we're seeing that in AEW, where you got to have somebody that tells them no once in a while. It's like, look, guys, these spot fests, you got to scale it back a little bit. There's got to be some willingness to tell these guys no, and service the story first over whatever it is they want to do. And I enjoyed this week's AEW Dynamite tremendously, I thought overall. But once again, the women are the weakest part of the show. The spot fests are too much, and they need to scale back on that. And that's a problem with wrestling in general. It's not strictly an AEW thing, because I've been saying it for years. Literally, like, probably a decade, where it's like these multi-man matches, man, they just, do you have to do the dog pile spot every single one of these matches? I hate that spot. And I again, if you followed my channel, you know I've been complaining about that for years now. And it's just mind-numbing. And AEW, they're doing it too, and it's like, come on, guys, don't be doing that shit. Please, scale back. It's okay to scale back. And the proof is in the pudding. MJF is like one of the best things on the show, and all he does is cut promos and act like a dick. I mean, that's I mean, that's all you need to do. I thought the 6-man tag was probably the best thing on the show this week because I got to mark out for Paige and MJF got to be a dickhead, and the Butcher and the Blade, who might end up, put a pin in this right now, if the Butcher and the Blade get a significant push, they might end up being my favorite tag team in AEW because I love their style. I like that they're just a big bruiser tag team and they beat the shit out of people. I'm like, I really like these guys. I would not be upset if they became the tag team champions. Also, I will not object to Allie being on my TV screen because I think this is the hottest she's ever looked. The whole bunny get up. I'm like, this is kind of hot. Yeah, I kind of like what I'm seeing. But anyway, so that covers Marty. Is there anything else interesting going on? Well, we're heading into a couple big shows for WWE. We've got the NXT When Worlds Collide show, which not that interesting to me because I don't watch NXT UK because I tried to watch it when it first started and I just couldn't get into it, and I watch too much wrestling as it is, so that was one that I could drop. 205 Live I haven't watched in forever. I have not watched it since it officially became part of like the NXT umbrella, so I just, not a whole lot of intrigue there for me, but I'll probably be checking out that show. It's like, it'll probably be a really fun show, so why not? Maybe something will happen that'll make me want to watch NXT UK, although because the UK people are constantly on NXT, it kind of makes me not, less interested in watching NXT UK because it's like, all right, so they don't offer anything that I don't already get on the Wednesday night show. So, so there's that. Walter and Imperium, they've, not regulars on the Wednesday night show, but they're there. And Tony Storm recently showed up, and now they're doing the Dusty Rhodes Classic, which has a few NXT UK teams. So it's like, all right, if the NXT UK guys are going to be showing up on Wednesday nights anyway, I guess that's even less reason for me to watch NXT UK. So, but I am going to be checking out the When Worlds Collide show. I think it'll be interesting and fun. So we'll see how that goes. We've got NXT. The next NXT TakeOver, I forget where, Portland. Yeah, NXT Portland. They're setting up some things there. The TV shows are building up to that, so that'll be, it's TakeOver. So if it's like on a bad day, like a TakeOver is a B. So it's like, that show's going to be good. And then you've got the Royal Rumble coming up, which again, I already did a video talking about Brock Lesnar's role in the Royal Rumble, and I'm kind of intrigued by what they're doing with him. They could completely botch the whole thing. It could be completely stupid, but I think there's a chance to do something intriguing there. And they're also doing The Fiend versus Daniel Bryan at the Rumble, which I was like, oh, okay. I thought maybe they'd save that for Mania, so maybe they're going to do my Fiend Brock Lesnar idea for WrestleMania, have Lesnar win the Rumble, and then he faces The Fiend with both titles on the line at WrestleMania. I would be down for that. All they have to do is turn the red lighting off when The Fiend, because I just don't stop doing the red lighting. It looks terrible. Don't do it. Do not fucking do it. Do you do that? I'm totally down for a Fiend Brock Lesnar WrestleMania main event with both belts on the line. I think that'd be really cool. But we've got a few weeks to go before that. We also have an NWA pay-per-view, Hard Times, which looks like the whole card's going to be like the NWA TV title tournament or something like that, which that's like, I don't know if... I've been enjoying the tournament and the TV title stuff on Power, but I'm like, is that enough to get me to buy a pay-per-view, though? I don't know. We'll see, though. We'll see when we get closer to the card. Maybe I'll do a full-fledged preview. But I think I'm done now. I think I've gotten through everything that I want to get through. So, once again, I do apologize for this video coming out later than anticipated, but I think this is the first time I've filmed a video before sundown in years. It's like, it's weird to see light outside while I'm filming one of these, but I think, no, it's like, well, I did do my live streams when I was doing the Saturday Night's Main Event and Clash of Champions live streams, which I do want to start doing live streams again. I need to set aside time to get all my ducks in a row and make sure that I can, and make sure that all the equipment works, because it's like YouTube, the way they do it now, you can't just instantly start live streaming like you used to, because why make it easy? So I have to get a different program, and I want to test all that out first and make sure it's compatible with my camera and my mic and everything else to make sure that everything works. But that'll be something for down the road, and I've got to come up with something good too to do a live stream series of. But like I said, I think we're good now. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the little bell icon so you get notified when I post new videos. Be sure to follow me on Twitter. The link is in the description. And I think we're done. I think that's all I have for you. So again, happy Martin Luther King Day to everybody. And enjoy the rest of your week. I will have more videos out for you soon, so be on the lookout for that. But until then, later, everybody.